This company is a tech and AI superstar that has gone up over 300% this past year, and is currently facing a dip after pre-planned insider sales. Is it time to buy the Palantir dip? For background, they make data analysis and AI software that helps businesses, militaries, and the government tackle really complex problems. They're really good at combining different kinds of information and showing it in a way that's easy to understand. Imagine if you had a puzzle with 1 billion pieces and didn't know where to start. Palantir is the tool that you would use to organize the pieces for you, find the patterns, and how to start the puzzle.
We are very focused on product innovation. Part of what AI does is allows you to innovate quicker, and if you have distribution, distribute that innovation quicker. So our main goal is to accelerate product development in all areas: military, manufacturing, government, AI-backed targeting, AI-backed ways of running your business, and then we'll see where we are in a year. My firm belief is Palantir will be 10 times bigger in the future.
Palantir works a lot with the government, especially in defense and security. They help agencies like the US military and the police analyze data to find threats, plan missions, and solve crimes. Palantir was recently granted further authorization to cover the entirety of their offerings and programs to be used by the US government at the FedRAMP high baseline level. Big companies like banks, hospitals, and manufacturers use Palantir to understand their data and make better decisions. A hospital might use Palantir to figure out how to organize better and treat patients faster. A car company might use it to make their factories more efficient. They've partnered with big companies such as Microsoft, Anthropic, and Amazon Web Services. Palantir is a part of a group of tech companies including SpaceX and OpenAI, aiming to win more US defense contracts. This group plans to use their combined technology to offer a better solution to national defense.
Last question, you mentioned Maven. I want to dig in. The DoD recently disclosing this was a 5-year, $480 million contract with Palantir. Just walk us through, what is that contract? What is it, and what does it mean for your company?
Okay. I never know what we're allowed to say about these very sensitive contracts, but I'll tell you what it means for the nation. This country is focused on using AI to have a structural advantage in how we deploy and understand the battlefield, deploy our assets and understand the battlefield.
Moving on to their financials, Palantir has recently reached profitability in 2023 as their revenue has been continuously growing. Their revenue in 2022 was $1.8 billion, which they then increased by 18% for the next year at $2.2 billion and another further 30% in 2023. Their shares began trading at $10 in 2020. Palantir is a high-risk, high-reward growth stock for aggressive investors seeking AI and data sector exposure. It has finally showed some slowing in the momentum as the share price is currently dipping.
You know, they are really well positioned in the AI space. They do a great job with data integration and analytics. They've got, I think, really strong and innovative management. And we're early days. This is, I think, a long-term winner, but the market needs to digest what's happened with the stock. We've got a nice growth rate, but the stock's up more than 300% over 52 weeks.
It could give anyone who missed out a chance to invest at a better price. The price to sales and earnings are both through the roof, with anticipation that revenue will increase significantly over the short term. This valuation is based on speculative future earnings. Potential risk factors that will affect these earnings could spell disaster for shareholders. They rely on government contracts for much of their work, and without that, they would be solely dependent on the fierce competition of the commercial space.
I think that even though it seems 100 times earnings, it may turn out to be much less in terms of the multiple. It is the highest, got the highest so-called rule of 40 about its growth and margins of any company. And my hat's off to these guys. If you go back and read the last couple of analyst reports, it really is the exciting AI company of our era.
Palantir has done a good job of diversifying their operations, and they keep a solid amount of cash reserves in case of emergencies. As well as that, they've maintained low levels of debt, which compared to their competitors shows how much more conservatively they're financed. The public sentiment of this company is generally mixed. Some see Palantir as a future AI and data giant. Others think it's overpriced hype for their current earnings.
While the current valuation is very optimistic, we believe Palantir could become the go-to operating system for enterprises in the AI age. we're talking about a potential $1 trillion market opportunity here.
Palantir was founded in 2003 by Peter Thiel, Alex Karp, Nathan Gettings, Joe Lonsdale, and Stephen Cohen. Management has been relatively stable, with founders maintaining influence.
And what we learned in the context of warfighting primarily, but also across the 20 years of building software infrastructure, were how do you manage an emergent natural resource called large language models in a way where you actually get value, meaning you can transform your enterprise, you can change the margins, you can turn non-technical people into technical people. On the battlefield, you can do things that would have otherwise cost billions of dollars for millions of dollars.
We cannot have parity. Our adversaries do not have our moral compunction. If it's even, they will take advantage of our niceness, kindness, our desire to be at home in Nebraska or New Hampshire or wherever we live in our peaceful environments. And they need to wake up scared and go to bed scared.
There have been concerns about the company's dilutions in the past, but with its current cash on hand and profitability, it should be able to avoid significant dilution outside of management compensation. Analysts are across the board with Palantir and are expecting the stock to dip back down before it goes back up.
To be honest with you, as we think about Palantir's business, we really like it, right? Like it is one of the only AI pure plays out there. The company's business is great. The US commercial side of the business is actually doing really well and is firing on all cylinders. So our sort of like issue with Palantir as a stock has been its valuation, and that's what we've highlighted over the last few quarters, that the valuation is getting out of hand. And especially if you think about, trying to bake in the assumptions that would take you to the current sort of stock price, those are some very, very optimistic assumptions.
I am interested in seeing where the share price ends up in the short term, as if it continues to dip below the 50-day moving average, I may be purchasing. Do you think Palantir is overhyped, or are you a long-term believer? Thanks for watching.